I do believe we're all connected. I do believe in positive energy. I do believe in the power of prayer. I do believe in putting good out into the world, and I believe in taking care of each other. Theater is my temple and my religion and my act of faith. Strangers sit in a room together and believe together. The great thing about suicide is that it's not one of those things you have to do now or you lose your chance. I mean, you can always do it later. You know, I always got offered other stuff. Not the romantic leads, obviously. But very often it's a role that's underwritten, where the character has no personality at all, and they need a character actor who can fill it in. How often are the perpetrators of hate crimes discovered to be self-loathing? Valued individuals do not strike out against strangers. Nothing binds a people to their leader like a common enemy. Voters don't change governments during war. It's a wonderful world. You can't go backwards. You're always moving forward. It's the wonderful part about life, and that's terrific. I was exposed to a mix of cultures, lots of different religions and beliefs. I was a spiritual kid and went to Indian powwows and Buddhist temples. But over a period of time, with reading and thinking, I started to feel it was all so absurd. The whole idea of life after death is ridiculous. I got the regular call that they were doing a Broadway musical of Hairspray, and would I come and audition? I was familiar with the movie because at the time it came out my lover wrote for Premiere Magazine, and we had to see everything. But actually, just yesterday, we raised the key of one of my songs 2 steps up, so my voice is obviously responding. It's a muscle, and the more you use it right, the more you should get out of it. So yes, I sing. You really, really, really have to love what you are going to do in theater because it is an unmerciful life. It's 6 days a week. It's 8 performances a week. And that's doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. It would be nice to redefine ourselves. At the moment, we are drowning in diversity. That's not a bad thing. It's just going to take a while before we refocus. Never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. Art has the power to transform, to illuminate, to educate, inspire, and motivate. Beware of anyone who says they know. Trust me, they don't, or they wouldn't have to say they did. State-sanctioned marriage is a civil contract, period. A contract is not a judgment of moral value. It is a legal agreement between 2 parties that testifies to a meeting of minds between those consenting entities. It is not a religious act or rite, and so has nothing to do with Adam and Eve or Steve or even Harvey. I often say that if you really want to understand the contract of marriage, just ask anyone who has been divorced. The marriage contract is one of property rights. Or maybe you can look in the Bible to see what Adam had to say about divorce, since Eve was his second wife. But I'm not adverse to the idea of Torch Song as a musical. It would just be different, because the play will always be there exactly as it was. And in a musical, you could tell a lot of the story through songs. I'm sure there's going to be some material from This Is Not Going to Be Pretty. I usually use that song to just introduce myself to the audience, although the patter in between the song is always different. So did I work with Warhol? I worked with him less on that play than I did on other things. He actually did a portrait of my rabbit and some other stuff. Warhol was definitely Warhol. Anyone with a smartphone is a potential eyewitness cameraman capturing and transmitting stories at speeds that turn Reuters photos and traditional reporting into, well, yesterday's news. My father was brought up in an orphanage in the Catskills. He was a factory worker, and because his family wasn't there for him, family was everything. We could disagree inside the house, but outside the house, it was us against the world. So when I became a drag actor, he looked sideways but said, okay. You may feel powerless as a child, but the world will one day be yours, and you're responsible for it. So seize the day and take charge of it. I really am a theater person. That means you put something out there and you let it go. Tomorrow night is a new performance.